Hi, my name is Joanna Show TV a lot, and I will be doing my project on Sojourner Truth. Originally named Isabella Bumfree, she changed her name to Sojourner Truth in 1842 after devoting her life to Methodism and the abolition of slavery. And she is a beautiful example of a strong woman that through her actions gives inspiration to many today. She was born into slavery with as many as 12 other siblings between her father James and her mother Elizabeth Bumfree, and they were residing in the town of Swartkill, Ulster County, New York. And her family was owned by Conall Hardenberg, and when Sojourner Truth was just 9 years old, she was sold at auction with a flock of sheep for $100. A man named John Neely, who was considered a harsh and violent owner. She would then be sold twice more over the following years until finally she resided on a property of John Dumont. It was there she fell in love with a slave named Robert from a neighboring farm. They had a daughter together named Diana. However, after Robert's owner saw this relationship, he forbade it because he realized the children born between them would go directly to John Dumont rather than himself. And so, after that, Robert and Truth never saw each other again. So in 1817, I have no idea why I put 1877. Anyway, Dumont compelled Truth to marry an older slave named Thomas, and they produced a son and two daughters. And on July 4th, 1827, the state of New York emancipated all slaves, which came as a blessing since John Dumont took back his promise to free Truth. Jerk. But while Truth escaped with her infant daughter Sophia, she found out her son Peter, who was only 5 years old, had been illegally sold to a man in Alabama. She was like, I'm not going to let this stand. So she took the issue to court and eventually won back Peter's return from the South. And this is one of the first cases of a black woman winning in a court of law against a white man. Not only was she an amazing person that stood up against slavery, she also played a strong role in women's rights. She is most infamously known for her speech, Ain't I a Woman, at the Women's Right Convention in Argyle, Ohio. And here's a wonderful clip of that speech.
That man over there says that women need to be helped into carriages and lifted over ditches and to have the best place everywhere. Nobody ever helps me into carriages or over mud puddles or gives me any best place. And ain't I a woman? Look at me. I have plowed and planted and gathered into barns, and no man could head me. And ain't I a woman? I could work as much and eat as much as any man when I could get it. And I could bear the lash as well. And ain't I a woman? I have borne 13 children, seen most sold off into slavery. And when I cried out with a mother's grief, none but Jesus heard me. And ain't I a woman? That man in the back there, he says women can't have as much rights as men because Christ wasn't a woman. Well, where did your Christ come from? Where did your Christ come from? He came from God and a woman. Man didn't have nothing to do with it. If the first woman God ever made was strong enough to turn the world upside down all alone, well, these women here together ought to be able to turn it back and get it right side up again. And they asking to do it. The men better let them.
Now, some thought Truth's opinions were pretty radical, but she only sought political equality for all women and openly chastised those in the abolitionist community for failing to seek civil rights for black women and men. As if all these qualities weren't impressive enough on their own, Sojourner Truth also was a considerable help in recruiting black troops for the Union Army. In 1864, she was called to Washington to contribute to the National Freedmen's Relief Association, where she met and spoke with President Abraham Lincoln, and she talked about her beliefs and her experiences. Sojourner Truth died in her home at Battle Creek, Michigan in 1883. Her grave and memorial are frequently visited to this day. Until her age made it so she was unable to perform, Truth spoke passionately on what she believed in. It is because of her strength and will that she is remembered as one of the foremost leaders of the abolition movement and an early advocate of women's rights. And it's because of women like her that we have to thank for the progress that we currently have today.